question
That
about that. Lally tanked in court, so he had a bad day.
I've seen, I don't know, maybe thousands of opening statements in my life. I've given them, I've sat across from them. I've trained ADAs, watched them give them, read them in transcripts. It's an everyday thing for us. And I have to tell you, based upon what I saw today, in 25 years, given the gravity of the case, the emotion in the case, and everything, I think I can state with complete confidence that was absolutely the most pathetic, worthless, boring, and ineffective summation by a prosecutor imaginable. And I, I, I'm, I was speechless after I saw this. And he's presumably, again, the best they have. I mean, this is the biggest case they're ever going to have. And he had no emotion. He had no plan to lead the jurors along in a way to captivate them. He probably put them to sleep because I didn't doze off, but I think I lost focus a few times, like everyone else. He spent a good 15 of his 35 minutes talking about nothing, nothing important in the grand scheme of the trial. He buried the lead, as they say. I think it took him until the last 5 minutes before he mentioned what he claims the evidence will be, so, related to the vehicle, things of that nature. And it was just awful. And if you can even remember 90% of what he said, that's more than I can. Terrible.
God, it didn't pick up well on the phones or the tablets. Like he was not as assertive or vocal. His voice didn't carry like David Yannetti's voice carried. I
Right.
mean, David Yannetti grabbed everyone's attention. The first sentence was Karen Reed was framed.
Well, that's what you do. You punch them in the mouth, you grab them, and of course, Lally left them an opening because they needed to be jolted awake and pay attention. But I think you're being kind to Lally, believe it or not. I mean, I would, they should have checked him for a pulse throughout this. I mean, you're talking about a murder case of this much importance, given the severity of the case, the emotion, and everything that's been going on, and to just sit there and like a drone. I mean, it was as if he was reading legislative bills rather than giving an opening statement in a murder case. And you want these jurors to feel confident. We talked about this even looking at what he was talking, when we were critiquing them last night, how he was performing. And he looked better then than he did today. I don't know what it was, but it was terrible. And I think if you talk to anyone who does this for a living, they'll tell you whatever they think of this case, that was stunning, how bad it was, and how little confidence he had in what he's saying. And again, with the white knuckling of the podium and the holding the pen and the flipping the pad, look the jurors in the eyes, man. Tell them what you're going to prove, instead of talking about how, what everybody ordered to drink at a bar and the name of the pizza place where they went to do this. And then it was snowing. And what I mean by snowing is that it wasn't a blizzard yet, but the weather reports were bad. And then it was bad. Awful. Terrible. In case you couldn't guess, I thought it was pretty bad.
It was bad. It really was. Even to a lay person like any of us watching, a lot of us, it was just like you couldn't even follow what he was saying. Where's the meat of it? Like you said,
Well,
he kept it all at the end, what he actually had.
And again, I don't know if it speaks worse about that office, about their training or whatever, but you learn when you're a kid DA. Also, you need a theme. You have to present a theme to a jury. You've got to hold their hand, and throughout the case, use your theme. You use it in your opening. You try to go back to it during your examinations of witnesses, and you circle back in summation. And this guy didn't offer any theme or anything. He just droned on about, well, this witness is going to say this, and then you'll hear from this person and this person. And then if you're still awake, the car was going 20 something miles an hour, and he was hit. and this and that. And, you know, I'm going to speak to you twice. And, you know, I get to do this twice. I mean, what an opening line. I get a chance to speak to you twice. That's really, you know, grabbing them by the cuffs, smacking them in the face and saying, have I got something to tell you? I mean, you want to tell a story, preview.
That-
And he did none of that. It was just surprisingly bad.